let's check it out. So we just stopped at the Jailhouse Motel Casino. Good morning. How you doing today? Welcome back to another issue of the Daily Planet. We made it to Friday. Oh, sweet, sweet feeling of a Friday. And hopefully you had a good week. I know it was a very interesting week for a lot of us. You know what happened this week. And you know I gotta do this thing. You know what yesterday was. Never forget. I'm gonna start doing this more and more, and I keep forgetting to do it. I've had this card on me for, I don't know, 4 years maybe, and it's a white balance card. It's meant for me to like hold up, and then in post I can use the dropper tool and find what white is, and then it will color correct everything for true colors on that. I keep forgetting to do that, so I'm glad I put my hand in my pocket for that. But yes, interesting week, and I talked about it last night on Hair to Live, so make sure you guys go back and check that out if you're so inclined. But I hope that we can all strive to just be better people at the end of the day, and accept people for their differences and all that stuff. But like I said, go watch yesterday's video. But something that we talked about yesterday that I wanted to kind of ask you about is, what kind of content are you consuming on YouTube? Like, what do you find yourself coming to YouTube to watch? And the reason I asked that question is Eckhart Slatter is one of the most popular Star Wars YouTubers out there. And he pointed out, and I talked about this last night as well, he pointed out how Star Wars YouTube is like at an all-time low. I've thought about this for a long time. I remember looking at Star Wars Theory and a couple other people and just looking at the view counts. Again, views I wish I had, but relative to what they normally would do, views were a bit low. So I'm curious, when it comes to the nerd space, what are you coming to YouTube to watch, to consume? Is it toy collecting? Is there another franchise? Do you even come to YouTube anymore to see reviews and watch reviews? I just feel like the times have changed. I feel like more real content, the IRL stuff, the vlogging stuff, I feel like that's what YouTube's kind of like what it's become over the last couple of years, maybe even the last year, the last 365. But I remember talking to one of my coworkers at my last job, and whenever she wanted to learn how to do something, she went to TikTok. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that. And then long and behold, now I kind of do that. If I want to like just see how something works or learn something, go to TikTok. But here on YouTube, I'm watching a lot of photo walks, a lot of camera related things. I'm watching a bunch of Salem videos, so I don't feel like I come to YouTube anymore to, I don't know, to watch like the nerd stuff like I used to, which is interesting considering that's this channel. So, and maybe that's why even these videos, a lot of you, and I don't know about you in particular, but why so many of you have enjoyed these videos and watched these videos more than the other ones, maybe it's for that very reason. YouTube is more now becoming a spot to just watch people live their lives and not for information. I don't know. I'm curious. But that's why I want to know what your thoughts are on that. Like, what space does YouTube hold in your mental library as far as like why am I here? Why do I go to YouTube? Now, going to this franchise, Star Wars is at a low, easily. But I just feel like Star Wars I feel like Star Wars is just now reaching a part where it's no longer like a top of the mountain type of thing. It's kind of like balancing out with everything else in the nerd space. Like I feel like, the day-to-day nerd TV shows, your Star Treks, your Marvel shows, your DC shows. I feel like in a way they've almost plateaued, and Star Wars was kind of like the best of them for the longest time, and now it's just normalized. So I don't think Star Wars is at a low. I think it's just more. I think it just is what it is now, And the younger generations, they're into other things, like the way that we watched X-Men and Spider-Man and all that stuff when we were kids. Now they're watching K-pop demons, and they're watching anime. So it's, it was interesting to think about it and try to figure out where my brain fell on that subject and that thought. But I think Star Wars is just now normalizing. And yeah, there's not anything new outside of the Mando Grogu movie coming out that people are remotely excited for. There is the Maul show, there is the Starfighter movie, but the average person doesn't know that those things are happening. It's just the hardcores. And I think the hardcores are now, as they become adults and they become parents, homeowners, that whole thing, they have other things to worry about and think about. So I don't know. It's something I just want to, I'll just say, get off my chest, but it's not that serious. More of just get the thought out there and get your opinion on it. Is Star Wars at an all-time low? Is YouTube no longer for the nerd content like what I create? Should my whole channel be something different? I mean, it won't be. I won't change it. I like making the content. But what do you go to YouTube for? What do you watch on YouTube? Or do you go to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook for this kind of thing? Not YouTube anymore. Just a thought. Penny for your thoughts. New merch, of course, on the website. Check that out. Hopefully you have a great weekend. If you can, go back and watch our TerraCon video that dropped yesterday. It was a great convention. I still want to go into Salem and do more content. So I'm trying to figure out what the angle I'm going for is there. Is it just walking tours? Is it going on, the random tours that they offer there? I don't know. So many of those videos already exist. So I'm trying to figure out, where do we as nerds fit in there? So let me know down below. Would you be interested in seeing over in Salem? But have a great weekend, and talk to you later. Peace. Or do you have to give the peace sign when you say peace, or can you just say peace? Peace. Peace. I don't know. I think you have to kind of do a peace sign at some point. Peace.